What's happening, young blood? Hi, I'm just playing. But hi, I'm Michael Ringgold. This is my take on mythology. I'm going to touch on 3 key points in this subject. It's going to be mythology and how it relates to religion. Religion in a sense of, like Christianity, things of that sort. But I won't get too bogged down into those type of details, if you know what I mean. But you'll see. And the second and third are going to be 2 examples. And this is going to relate to Greek mythology. And I'm just going to kind of give you some insight on my takes on these 2 particular stories. And that's going to be the story of Prometheus and the story of Jason and the Golden Fleece. Now, when I look at, when I think about, when I think about mythology, it is, in a sense, its own type of religion when you think on it. But the way I look at it is it's a more descriptive way of explaining life and human existence and overall. I mean, just look at some examples as Ares, god of war, Zeus, god of thunder, or I'm about to go off script here, but, in some Latin societies, you got Ogun, and we're talking about the god of steel, stuff like that. I mean, mythology is so, it just explains everything. It tries to give justification for why the wind blows and why the water is wet. Don't get into that argument, please, if water is wet. But regardless, it's when you think of it, I mean, religion does what, right? Religion tries to, it creates this sense of purpose and unity. And then when I look at mythology, I mean, it's a matter of, well, this is just why things work the way they are, rather than giving justification to just one centralized power and telling you that, this is the meaning behind everything. It's known with the work of, and mythology tells you that with the help of a collective, we were able to achieve what we are and why these things are the way that they are. Now, the video is not going to be that long, so I have to move on quickly, actually, to the next topic. But the story of Prometheus, to quickly touch on this one, it was an interesting one in itself because Prometheus was molded, by the gods himself. He was created to then, shine light on the world, and, well, not necessarily shine light on the world, but he created the existence of man, shaped them out of mud, and there they came and started to materialize, just like crops in a field. And with the people, I mean, Prometheus, I guess, had he had this sense of responsibility to not only oversee them, but to make sure that their livelihoods are being taken care of in the rightful way. And Zeus was so adamant on, making sure that these people weren't given too much. But Prometheus would always forever go out of his way to oppose Zeus and give the people what they would need in that matter, whether that's fire, food, shelter. I mean, he was at that time, you could say, somewhat of like Jesus Christ. I like to make a more relevant example and say that he's somewhere along the lines of what MLK, Malcolm X, what they were in that regard. Or Fred Hampton. I'm sorry. Let me not forget him. And I say that because he was, in a sense, a sacrificial lamb, but for a greater good of the people. Zeus was so bitter about Prometheus standing against him for the rights of the people that he had created, that he stuck the man onto a stone to have his liver being eaten from him by a vulture. And it grows back constantly. Well, not constantly, but it grows back, as one would. It grows back. I don't know why I lifted my shirt, but it grows back. And the vulture would then come and devour it again. It grows back again. And the vulture devours it over, and so on and so forth. And to go through all this treacherous, not treacherous, to go through all this torture, but to still wear a smile on your face, shows that the man understood that although he may suffer, it was for a greater purpose of his people and for them to enjoy the life that he sought out for them. Now, Jason and the Golden Fleece, I'll quickly touch on this one, but it's the classic tragic tale of the side piece. I mean, Jason had to go on, he went on this quest of trying to become the perfect hero. And by embarking on this quest, he then, brought on some other heroes along with him, like a Hercules, for example, or Heracles, however you want to pronounce it. And on this voyage, he encountered a series of obstacles and managed to make his way throughout them. But this one in particular, where he had made it into this land, where he had acquired the fondness of one of the daughters of the king. Here we go. Sorry, I just put a quick pause. But no, it was he acquired the fondness of the daughter of this king. And, not just say, that happened. I mean, it was like a love spell casted onto her, so she had no choice. And that was done by one of the goddesses herself. Not Hera. The goddess of love. But regardless, this princess decides that she wants to help, Jason get past, all these obstacles her father's setting out against him, because Jason wishes to acquire the Golden Fleece that the king holds in a cave, protected from everyone. And as she helps him go through these series of obstacles, each time Jason unable to successfully get by them on his own, whether that was the giants that sprout out of dragon teeth or these bulls with hooves sharpened like claws or whatever may have you, or daggers, he just gets through, and because of the help of this woman, whether she makes them go to sleep. Well, actually, she did that on the final obstacle with the dragon, when they made it into the cave of Ares, and Jason had to then, instead of fighting the dragon, which he was, unsheathed his sword, thinking he would have to, kill it, she said, no, I'll just cast a spell, have him go to sleep. Or for the big giants that were attacking him, I'll throw a stone and they'll fight each other. Just little simple stuff, but she managed to get him through. And then as he finally gets this fleece, this man went through a lot, and he gets through it, and then it gets to a point where now they're going back to his land. He has her with him. And when he makes it back home, he drops her. When I mean drops her, he just leaves her, gets a new princess, becomes the king of his people, and leaves this woman off to the side, only to then have the words of him saying that I couldn't have done it without you, and you'll forever have my heart, but I'm going to marry this woman anyway. Thank you, though. I'm just saying. Classic side chick story. It's tragic. But Greek mythology, it's a lot like that. Mythology in general is very ironic. It's you think things are going to go in one direction, then all of a sudden, reality just kind of comes right back to hit you. You didn't come to fall in love. You came for the fleece. So that's my time. I appreciate, you guys toughing it out. I know I was going through a bit of some word jumbles and mind pauses, but regardless, we made it. And I hope you enjoyed this video. It's Michael Ringgold. I'm out.